John Hook's Newsmaker starts now.
Thanks for joining us for Newsmaker. The presidential election in November could come down to 7 battleground states: Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Nevada, and yes, Arizona. And between these 7 highly competitive states, 93 electoral votes are up for grabs. Whichever candidate wins these states will likely be the winner. And on June 10th, that's Monday, Fox is launching a new weekly show called Battleground. It will focus on issues driving voters in these battleground states. Fox 10 will be a big part of this effort, and the host of the program is commentator, columnist, author, political consultant, S.C. Cupp, who joins me now on Newsmaker. Great to see you.
You too, John.
So it's Sarah Elizabeth.
Why'd you have to blow my cover?
Well, you're in good company. You've got H.L. Mencken, you've got J.K. Rowling, you've got T.S. Eliot. I mean...
Don't forget about S.E. Hinton,
there you go.
My inspiration.
Okay,
yeah, the Outsiders.
Okay. Well, no, I think people would want to know this.
Yeah, it's Sarah Elizabeth, and you didn't blow anything. You could easily Google it. It's Sarah
Sure.
Elizabeth. Was the name I was born with, and when I got to college I decided to be a pretentious writer and get a pseudonym, and so I started going by S.E. Cupp, and it just stuck.
S.E., tell me about Battleground, because even as one of the affiliates it's going to be part of this, some of this is a mystery, and I think it's going to develop as news develops, which will kind of dictate what we do.
Well, and yeah, our mission at Battleground is real specific. Cover the news out of these 7 swing states and talk to the voters who live in them about the issues that matter. We're going to be using, as you mentioned, reporters in these 7 states, as well as experts who know these states really well, the contours of the politics in these states. We're going to be relying a lot on you guys and Ellen McNamara in Phoenix to tell these stories because I can't be everywhere, and we need to go to these states to tell these stories. So that's what makes Battleground a bit unique. We're telling a national audience the local stories from the 7 states that are going to matter most.
That's the interesting twist, because Fox has 29 stations around the country, and that's where this is going to air. But for the New Yorks and the LAs and the Chicagos and the San Franciscos that are not battlegrounds, what will be in it for them?
Well, we are the United States of America, and, California might think their vote doesn't matter. It does, but their neighbors are Nevada and Arizona. They share some issues. They share issues over water and a migrant crisis, inflation, cost of living. If you don't care what is driving your neighbors to go and vote, then don't be surprised when they vote in a way you don't like at the next election. This is how we all remain good neighbors and part of a community, is by learning about the people, in this case, who are going to decide the election. We hear every other year, every 2 years, I can't believe Republicans got so extreme, or I can't believe Democrats are so out there and out of touch.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't believe it, it's because you're not listening. You're not listening to the voters out of these states and the issues that matters to them. So that's why we're highlighting it.
S.E., do you believe there's a common thread between the issues in these 7 battleground states? Is there a commonality of what the issues are? Is it in all 7, immigration, the economy, maybe abortion, direction of government, overreach of government? What would be the commonality between these 7 states, or is there any?
There are a lot, actually, and I'm sure, you could ask anyone if they care about their taxes. I bet they do. Well, taxes are a voting issue. Lowering the debt and the deficit, those are voter issues that voters care about. And depending on what side of it, you might have a different prescription, but it matters to you. Another issue we've found that cuts across demography, geography, class is housing affordability.
Yeah.
It's hard to buy your first home right now with mortgage rates where they are. It's hard to sell a home. If you're, wealthy, you might not like the state of affairs either with housing prices. There's a lot to cover there, and it's something that you could go to any state and find someone who cares about housing affordability. So we're going to get into all of that as well.
What do you think in Arizona? I mean, we've got this interesting dynamic going on, and it's happening in some other battleground states as well, where Donald Trump is polling well, but the down-ballot Senate candidate, in this case Kari Lake, is trailing. Usually there's a coattail effect. We're seeing kind of the inverse of this.
Yeah, and that's a story that we're going to cover on, in fact, our first show, because the Ruben Gallego, the Democrat, leading in the Senate, but Trump, the Republican, leading on the top of the ticket in the presidential race, is a really interesting schism. And we want to know why that is, why voters are voting in that direction. And Arizona is not the only state in which that's happening. So that's a really interesting story to tell. And we're going to tell that through your excellent reporting in Arizona and also through voters.
What do you make of the border situation now that Joe Biden has taken some executive action? Do you think it's too
that's a really good question. We're going to find out what voters think about that.
Too little too late, or do you think it could possibly have an effect to say, you know, he is trying to do something, but the recognition after 3.5 years is a little bit suspicious?
Well, we're already hearing Republicans message it that way, to say that Joe Biden, from his deathbed, is issuing this executive order on immigration, which is to say it might be just too late and sort of a Hail Mary to save his campaign. We're going to ask voters what they think of it, because it doesn't matter what I think of it. It doesn't matter what, you know, MAGA surrogates or Biden surrogates think of it, because that's all spin. I want to know what voters think of it. Do you see Joe Biden and do you see this executive action as solving a problem, or do you see it as campaigning? We're going to go to the states where this is an important issue for voters and ask them.
Okay, let's talk about abortion for a minute. If there's an issue that might turn out suburban women in these battleground states, now again, this all depends on what your laws are in your own state. So that could really determine if abortion is readily available in your state, then maybe it's not a driver. But do you see that as a driver and a difference maker in 2024?
Absolutely. It's an issue about which voters are very passionate, whichever side of the issue they fall. And we get news on this issue regularly, right? Arizona recently made news on this issue. Florida passing a 6-week abortion ban. Alabama and that IVF ruling. I mean, the news is kind of exploding all over the country on this issue, and it affects voters in those states, certainly, but it also affects voters in neighboring states. If you're in a state where your access to abortion has been limited, then your neighboring state becomes much more important to you, and that works in reverse too. So it's an issue, of course, we'll be covering, and you can't just cover it nationally. You have to go where the voters are, right. And in this case, where the voters are in these swing states.
See, one of the issues in past elections has been polling that has been kind of all over the map and not very good, but actually in the last couple of cycles, it's been better. Do you think these snapshots we're getting right now are reality? Do you think they reflect reality? And is there still a reluctant or shy Trump voter that is still underpolled? Do you think that's still going on?
Yeah, I think polls in the moment, as you say, are a snapshot, and they can be informative and instructive, but they can't be predictive. And I think that's sort of the pit that a lot of us fall into, the trap we fall into, is trying to make them predictive. And, you know, you just don't know until you know, is what I've always said. Until you have that exit polling after Election Day, you won't know who voted and why. But you know, polling can help us track the horse race, and that's what we're going to be doing. And tapping into those sort of reluctant Trump voters, and even some reluctant Biden voters. I mean, I go to a lot of college campuses and meet with students, and they will tell me, I don't feel comfortable saying I'm going to vote for Biden because my friends are judging me. That's a really interesting and new dynamic to learn about among young people and the Democratic Party. So that's why you have to go. You have to talk to voters. You have to talk to people who know voters to really drill down on these questions. Okay,
let's talk just quickly about Trump's conviction. you know, the early jury is still out on this. We do know he fundraised $200 million off this in the last week. That is just unbelievable money he's brought in from this. But by the same token, there may be people in the middle who say, you know, convicted felon, that's a deal breaker for me. We just don't know how big that size is.
No, you're exactly right. Are there people in the middle, independents and undeclareds, who see a convicted felon as the Republican nominee, and is that the thing that finally pushes them over to Biden? Or if you're in a county or a town where you're worried about buying a home, you're worried about buying gas and groceries, do you really care about Trump's legal woes? I mean, these are the questions we're going to ask at Battleground, because I don't know the answer. I don't know if Trump's convictions are going to matter. And you can turn on any, you know, cable news show and have a lot of pundits pretending to know. And believe me, I've been there. I'm a pundit too. But we don't really know. And so you got to go. You got to ask voters, does this matter to you? Is this going to matter to you 6 months from now when you go to vote?
Is there a battleground we're missing? I ticked them off: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Nevada. Is there one that may be in play that we're not paying attention to?
Well, we are paying attention to Minnesota, and we're watching Florida too. You know, we've got our 7 battleground states. That doesn't mean the race is frozen.
Yeah.
You know, these other states are getting very, very tight and very close. That will make them a battleground state. So we're keeping our eye on the other states too. Don't worry.
You've been doing this a while. What have you learned trying to read the tea leaves in politics? What have you learned about, well, I'm going to kind of tip you off here, snap judgments about stuff? Because I've learned hard lessons that way as well.
Yeah, I think you can get, you know, sucked into the idea of, you know, conventional wisdom.
Yes.
And truisms that you've learned over time covering politics that you just think are always going to be true. Well, guess what? They're true until they aren't. And the world is constantly changing. America is constantly changing. Our technologies are changing. The way we're delivering and ingesting news, it's all changing. So to think that anything is a rule anymore, I think is pretty naive. So when you cover these elections, you really have to bring fresh eyes. Yes, you have an institutional knowledge because you've been doing this a very long time. But when you think you know voters, they will surprise you. So you've got to listen. You've got to keep an open mind. You've got to be willing to hear from other people and keep telling yourself, you don't know everything. And there's a lot of stories out there that you haven't covered and will be new if you just know how to look for them.
Yeah, there's another part of that, too, that I feel I've learned watching and covering races for a long time. Voters are very discerning. And it does come down to candidate versus candidate. You can talk about, well, Trump's running well here, so the people under him should be pulled up. Voters in Arizona are all over the map. They will say, yeah, that's true, but I don't like candidate B, and I really don't like candidate C, even if they're of the same party. So these come down to very individual races and candidate on candidate, and sometimes candidates just aren't very good, and sometimes they're very good.
Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, I sometimes like in Arizona, I lived in Arizona for some time. I have a lot of family in Arizona. I love
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's sort of the New Hampshire of the West. Very independent and very hard to predict. And I also lived in Massachusetts. I know New Hampshire really well, too. But, you know, the Barry Goldwater Republican, right, the John McCain Maverick Republican is unpredictable. And I love that about Arizona voters. There's an independent streak there. I think you just saw it recently with Kirsten Sinema. So you can't say you know how Arizona is going to go or you know how they're going to vote. That's why we're not making those suppositions. We're going and we're asking them.
I think the bottom line is you're listening, which is a great skill.
Well, you got to do it. You got to do it because voters are talking. They are.
Yes.
You know, it's just not often the case that the national news is listening. So we've got to listen.
SC Cupp, appreciate your time. Looking forward to working with you on this program. I'm working on a story right now on elections in Maricopa County, a deep dive. So we'll share that with you. It's in process.
Great. We'll need all the help we can get, and I'm counting on you. Thank you.
Continued success. Good luck with the show on Monday night. It'll air here on Fox 10 at 11 p.m. SC Cupp, thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, when we come back on Newsmaker, how is Arizona's wildfire situation stacking up this year? We're going to speak with a forestry expert next on Newsmaker. Welcome back on Newsmaker. Once temperatures climb over 100 degrees, usually in June, that's when we really see the wildfire season kick into high gear. And that's held true this year, with several fires burning in the state right now and more expected. John Truett is with the Arizona Department of Forestry and Management. Kind enough to join us. We saw you about a year ago. We had you on the program. We've kind of dodged, John, a bullet the last few years. Despite dire predictions, we really haven't had big fires, certainly in the highlands.
You know, the fire potential has been out there. Our fuels have been very dry. Our fuel loadings are up due to the monsoons and whatnot, but we have dodged a bullet. We just haven't had the ignition sources out there, but the fuel conditions are still the same, you know, throughout the last 3 to 5 years and readily available to burn.
Okay, when we talk about fuel conditions, are we talking more about the lowlands, the interface around the cities? In other words, with the heavy precipitation of the last couple of years, all the grasses and all the brush and all of that grows up. But in the high country, because of the heavy winters and a big monsoon 1 year, really 2 years, is that kind of less volatile right now up in the mountains?
In the last couple of years, I've had a wet winter and then a kind of a prolonged, you know, below normal spring. So what that really does is the fuels are still available, but they're in a shorter duration. So our fire season up in the higher elevation, you know, it's coming into play now, but it's a shorter duration than it normally is over the last, you know, 3 to 5 years. So that's what we're kind of been looking at lately in the last couple of years up in the high country.
Okay, and then so most of the fires right now are in the lower elevations, right, where all of the brush and the grasses dry out and they are just tinder.
Most of it's all been, you know, around the 4,000 foot elevation and below, all in the Sonoran Desert. You know, it's not an ecosystem that really typically has grass in it, but these times, you know, we have a continuous grass crop all the way through the Sonoran Desert and the lower deserts. So it's a very volatile situation for us because of just the thickness of the grass, the carrying of the grass, really resistant to suppression.
John, has the message gotten out? You guys have really been beating the drum about defensible space around homes, because as more and more people are building, they're interfacing with places that will burn at some point in history. It's unavoidable. Are you guys able to reach all these people and get them to clear out a 30-foot defensible space?
You know, we're doing the best we can with the staff we have and in the collaboration with our federal partners and our local government. You know, we are pretty well blitzing the advertising of and the messaging of prevention, education, hardening your structures. You know, we went as far as putting advertisements at the gas stations and whatnot. We feel it's working, and we feel that's why maybe we have a reduction in acres burned in the last couple of years, is that, like I said earlier, the field conditions are the same, but we've had less ignition. So we're hopeful that the message is getting out there.
Yeah. And it's amazing because we talk about 2023 being the hottest summer on record. We hear all that stuff. And yet the fire problem was not as dire as many predicted. We had that 1 month of blistering heat. I think it was July going into August. It was about 6 weeks of an inferno. But we didn't have huge fires last year.
No, we didn't. And again, we're looking at, you know, a contributing factor is probably the education that we're putting out, the messaging we're getting out. Also, you know, the last real environmental factor is the wind. And we haven't had the wind in the last couple of years like we had this year, and a lot of the winds, were coming, basically every week, and that's what drove our activity this year and the larger fire growth.
What is it about the magic number of 100? It seems as soon as we get around 100, that's when the fires start. What is it?
Well, it's all the conditions leading up to that. The seasonality. The finer fuels. Once we get into the late spring, they start to cure out, and then once you hit that 100-degree mark, that those are kind of the triggers for us that we call our energy release component. Gets up into the high range to where those fires are putting out a lot more energy just because of the dryness of the fuels.
Tell me about the air tankers and how that's changed over time. I think we spoke about this last time. The air tankers for a while seemed to be coming in kind of after the ground crews, but now it seems there's been a shift in tactics where some of these tankers are being deployed early to try to knock the fire out right from the get-go. Am I missing something, or is that what's happening?
No, that's the stance that the state and the federal and local cooperators, we're after to knock these fires down as small as they can. The initial phase of it, the only benefit for us of having an earlier fire season than the western states is we get the opportunity to have the availability of more air tankers. So you're seeing more air tankers available to us. And as far as the state goes, we use the small air tankers, but we've changed our tactic on what we use. It's a fire suppressant. So we're actually dropping our retardant, our fire suppressant, right on the fire's edge to actually put the fire out to where we, can buy some time to get ground troops in there. And we have been very successful of that fire suppressant actually, dousing the fire.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because fire is a naturally occurring thing with lightning and everything else out there for ignition sources, and forests and even the lowlands need fire occasionally to keep things healthy. But with people building in more and more forested areas or potentially dangerous areas, there's a lot of effort to just save structures when fire is something that actually is necessary.
Yeah, a lot of our ecosystems are fire dependent, and excluding the Sonoran Desert, that we don't want fire in the Sonoran Desert. That's not a fire ecosystem. So what we encourage folks out there is and educate them on is that as you build out in the wild urban interface and the wild land areas, you become part of that fuel bed. And for there, you need to take those precautions of, clearing your lots, making sure that your structure is fire hardened, knowing that, the choice is to move out to the rural areas, that you are part of that fire ecosystem.
One more thing before we let you go, and thank you for your time. We tend to think that this kind of runs through about 4th of July. When the monsoon starts to come in, humidities rise, we get some moisture, certainly in the high country. Is that kind of how you still look at the calendar?
Yeah, we do. We do look at what we call a season-ending event, which is when the monsoons come in on a regular basis. The first onset of monsoon is more of a troubling because we get, lightning, dry lightning out of it. And then as it sustains itself and it starts putting down more and more moisture, we consider that a season-ending event. But as predictions go, this year, they're calling for a late onset of the monsoon and an early departure. So that's going to make a very short window there of getting moisture on the ground, and it's going to set us up for an active fall fire season.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll leave it there. John Truett with the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management. Great to see you, John. Really appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Okay, take care. We're back in a minute on Newsmaker.